Welcome to Trippin Tales from the Toadstool. I'm your host, Kimberly Dawn. Today, I tell part 2 of my own journey into the afterlife under the influences of ayahuasca to find my husband who passed away almost 3 years ago. If you haven't listened to part 1, please do so now. I came out of my vision and it startled me. I couldn't seem to find my way back to the pod room that I had just been in. The thing about the journey I was on, I didn't know at the time that it was a marathon and not a race. I had such high expectations that I was going to get the answers to all my questions in one sit down. The medicine showed me it wouldn't be that easy. When one is under the influence of plant medicine, one journeys in and out of visions all through the entirety of the experience. As I laid there contemplating my vision, I felt that Pod Kim wanted me to see that the magic of life is simply the ability to live it. Like this was the ultimate experience and that they would give anything to be in our shoes. Trying to put into words what the feelings speak to you is pretty impossible. This trip did not bring me closer to Mark, just created more questions for me to contemplate. When I found myself back in my vision, the pod was opening and out stepped my daughter. This was impossible. My daughter was not dead. How could she be here with me and her father? I laughed out loud. I realized as I asked the question that I too was not dead, but seemed to be here in this space as well. She smiled at me when I laughed, and I felt such compassion and the purest of love from her. And as I was trying to understand why she was here, she left through the door her father had just moments before. When I asked Pod Kim how this could be, she used the white space that the pods were in to show me. Holographic images were rapidly appearing and disappearing where the pods had been. To explain the things I saw and felt is difficult. I know what I was shown things in a way my mind could relate to, but when returning to this existence, I didn't seem to have the words to explain it. It was like I received a download, and when I came back to this existence, the download was now a zip file. As the pods disappeared and I found myself standing alone in the white room, appearing in front of me on the wall was a large, long cylinder tube. It seemed to be vibrating. The cylinder was dark black on one end and very bright white on the other. In between the dark and light ends were all different shades of black and white. The white became duller as it moved inward towards the middle, and the black became lighter as it moved towards the middle as well. Watching it reminded me of watching an old TV that was on a station that had gone off the air in the middle of the night. What I was witnessing in the tube was exactly like the black and white dots that moved within the old TV screens. It seemed alive to me though, and as I was focused on watching all the dark and light dots vibrating and moving rapidly within this tube, I noticed that certain videos started to play within it, or were projected by it. I could not really tell the difference. It just seemed all very normal to me at the time. I was watching multiple pictures within pictures, and I could feel each moment as they were happening. As the videos played in front of me, I noticed that the negative, darker moments of Mark and I's life were being projected from the dark side of the tube. I also noticed that our most beautiful moments together were being projected from the light side of the tube. In the middle were very mundane memories, everyday moments. And it occurred to me that these moments I was being shown seemed to be housed or stored within this tube. As I was contemplating what I was seeing, my eyes drifted downward. I noticed a very strange light coming out of my heart area. It was pinkish orange and very bright, and streams of this light were projecting out from my chest into a pyramidal type shape that came to a point at the cylinder I had just been watching. This startled me. I didn't understand. It seemed I was projecting everything I was seeing on the wall from my heart area within me. I felt in that very moment that I had all the information inside of me that I had gone traveling to find. It was as though I opened a secret compartment in my heart that held everything I had ever thought, done, or observed in life. As I was comprehending what I was telling myself, or hearing in my head, one of the two, it was hard to tell sometimes if I was talking to myself or if someone, Podkim, was giving me the information I was downloading. Sometimes I had forgotten I was on ayahuasca. It is difficult to explain what I have downloaded since my husband died. It's difficult to put these experiences into words. Everything seems so normal where I go. Upon coming back to this reality, it all seems so strange to say it out loud. It has occurred to me that maybe these experiences aren't supposed to be easy to translate back into this world. There is a veil for a reason between realities. I think we are supposed to be living here, not there. My experiences have been filled with such incredible information. Coming back here is always very difficult. It makes me homesick each and every time. The purpose of this existence is to live it, not try and escape it. Back in the pod room, the cylinder had disappeared, and the memory videos were no longer playing in front of me. And I noticed a black figure to the left of me in the far corner of the room. The figure was wearing a dark hoodie and jeans. I stepped toward this person, feeling no fear or love. It just felt like the right thing to do. As I came within about 3 feet of it, the figure raised its head, and it was Mark. He looked into my eyes but didn't smile. He couldn't, it seemed. I knew I could not get any closer to him or touch him. It seemed he had a protective field around him that kept us separated. As I was taking in what I was seeing, he started to talk to me. This was the first time I watched someone talk by moving their lips since I had entered this space. I was also hearing with my ears and not in my head telepathically. Mark didn't understand why I wanted to be there with him, why I would call him to me. I began to feel all his shame and guilt he was carrying with him for leaving me, and it was so heavy. He looked down at the floor towards his feet, and as he did this, I could feel my heart start pumping faster, excited like. I could feel love and gratitude just continually well up inside me and just burst out of me into him. I could not see what he saw in himself and what he was trying to tell me about himself. I could not feel this darkness he was feeling, he was trapped in. I could only feel pure love for my husband, and it radiated out of me. This dark Mark that seemed so sad and lost started to fade away slowly in front of me. And as he did, I got distracted, and my gaze was pulled to across the room into the far corner where something seemed to be appearing out of the light. I found myself fading fast and being hurled back into reality once again. I wanted to be where I just was, I thought to myself as I awoke back in reality and was once again staring up at the ceiling. I wanted to know where Mark went. He was just with me. It was so good to see him. And what was about to appear out of the corner of the room in that light? As I lay there trying to hold on to all that I had felt and witnessed, once again, I started to drift back into the vision. Stay tuned for part 3 of Where Did He Go, which will be uploaded on the next episode of the Tales from the Trippin Toadstool. Please like, share, and comment if you enjoyed this story. Please subscribe to get notified when the next one is uploaded. And if you have a story you would like to share, please email it to me at KimberlyDawnCanada@gmail.com. We live in a multiverse, folks, and the stories here are true stories told to help us understand more about who we really are and where we came from. Suspend your disbelief and expand your mind. I'm your host, Kimberly Dawn. Thank you for listening.